Hello. Hello, everyone. Just give everyone a chance for their audios and things like that to show up as well. Thanks for coming along, guys. A few come in. Rachel, got a couple of others. Hello. Peter. I think that's most of the crew that are coming in. Timothy, Phil, hey, Catherine, Jason, Andre, Michelle. I think this is us. Just waiting. I've got a couple of messages from people that are just trying to get their Zooms to work. And then I'm just going to have a look. Okay, cool. There'll be a couple others that'll come in a little bit as we get in and say hi. Thanks everyone for making some time this evening and responding on LinkedIn and being available. I hope everyone's well. I never quite know sometimes with putting these out there, but it's been really, really overwhelming, the response over the last sort of month or so that we've been starting this project and reaching out to people. So thanks for your time. I normally start before I kind of get into anything about what we're doing and me and what we're kind of, putting out there for and looking to connect with people about. Normally just go around and get a really sort of brief minute or so intro, who you are, what you do, and I have a couple of questions. I don't know if those questions are still in the chat or whether they're only in the waiting room area. I can copy and paste them across into the main chat area.
Not in the chat.
They're not in the chat? Okay. So look. There's one, and basically just the idea is kind of answer in summary, kind of very briefly. And when I say core motivation, I kind of more go for what's the underlying driver there. I've got to be careful. A lot of you guys are mentors and coaches. You'll be getting to the core of that really quickly. And then what do you value most in mentoring, coaching your business? It's just to get a feel. The way we've been starting this project is through these processes where we're doing between 10 and 20 people on these kind of Zoom calls, as a way of getting a sense of connection and just sort of finding out who might be kind of aligned with, when you hear a bit more about the project we're working on, who kind of really feels aligned with it. And we sort of found before we bothered going and doing a huge launch and all that other sorts of stuff, it might be nice to start like this. And it's been awesome. Made some incredible connections, and we've got some amazing people deciding to come be a part of the project. Maybe I'll go. I don't know if you guys have got gallery view, but I do, so I can kind of see a left to right scenario. Catherine, do you want to maybe just brief intro,
Sure.
Who you are, what you're up to, and then try to answer what was the core motivation,
Yeah.
and then maybe just in very, very brief, what you most value in business and in what you're doing.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine Russell. I'm in Melbourne, and I'm a new coach. Just started coaching. I've just started with my first few clients over the last couple of months. I'm looking to get certified in straightforward coaching, as well as possibly ADHD, maybe relationships, that sort of thing. So the main thing I want to do is help people in transition, which I know covers everybody. But I took a business course and they said, you got to narrow it down. So I started with women in tricky relationships and difficult relationships. But, I want to talk to anybody who wants help shifting
Cool.
where they want to go and achieving their vision. So my company is My Vision Coach, and my tagline is, your vision is my mission. So my core motivation for tonight is I'd like to find out more about this group. I'm particularly attracted to the supervision portion of it. I don't know much about it, so I'd like to learn more about that. And what I value most in mentoring, coaching, and business is that shift, it's the experience of sharing the journey, listening and talking, and the greater ease in expanding my awareness when I talk to a trusted other.
Nice. Awesome. Peter, you're on that side. You seem
Which Peter?
Peter with maybe has a sore neck by the looks of that. Either that or he's just stepped off a spacecraft. One of the two, and I'm not making light of it, but you Peter there to my right.
Sure. Yep.
Hey, mate.
So I'm Peter Stanford.
Yeah.
My sore neck is the result of fusion of C4, 5, 6, and 7 6 weeks ago tomorrow.
Wow.
This brace comes off on Friday, so surgery was successful. I'm only wearing it as a precaution, and it comes off on Friday.
Wow.
I just turned 73. About a year ago, I set up my own coaching and mentoring business, having spent 54 years in business management, software technology, those sorts of things. I quit my contract at the end of June, and my wife retired at the end of September last year. We have 2 beautiful grandkids who live in a granny flat in our backyard, so that takes up a fair chunk of my time, very pleasurable time.
Yeah.
My motivation was, you told me it would be interesting and you were very persistent, so I decided I'd like to see what it was about. And the things that I am particularly keen on are integrity, honesty, and punctuality.
Beautiful. Those value that you value in that work. Beautiful. Well, congratulations on the healing process, and and hope that going well and that journey. Thanks for coming along, Peter. Too appreciate it, particularly as well. Peter Ellis.
Oh, right, okay. Well, what I do is I say who's not totally satisfied with how their business is situated. So my name's Dr. Peter Ellis, and I'm the founder of Your Silent Partner. I'm a business mentor, and I resolve business pains. A little bit of my background is I've been doing this for about 30 years, working with businesses of all sizes, and as well as the experience of 30 years, I made sure that I had plenty of academic experience. I have a master's in strategy, a doctorate in business education, and a PhD in business structure, development, and growth. And my focus is working with business owners who do not understand why the business is getting harder, even though their sales are increasing. And I show them how to understand the business of business and how to plan, organize, and structure their business to be more manageable. What I do is help them free up time to do that by reducing micromanagement while staying in control of all activities. I set up individually designed systems for each client at a price they can afford. And as a result, the people with whom I work have a more organized, effective, and profitable business. So I'm Dr. Peter Ellis of Your Silent Partner.
Awesome. And what's the core motivation of why you came tonight, Peter? What was your motivation for coming tonight?
My motivation was coming tonight is because you kept emailing me every 5 minutes saying, don't forget. So,
I sent you 2 messages on LinkedIn. The emails were reminders that to please attend, because I noticed that if you don't email people a few times, they don't show up to these things. So I got that worked out pretty well.
And as it happened, I picked my wife up. She works at the cancer clinic here in Brisbane. Wow. And it was all very well getting there really early, and then all the traffic just stopped. And I just got in here at like 6:05, and she had to go off and do some stuff, which I would otherwise have done with her. So, once I started
my persistence is your motivation for your attendance.
That's fun. I'm interested. The topic was interesting. The alternative was there's something on at UQ, which I was going to go to, but it looks like it's going to rain. So I thought, I come here instead.
welcome.
It's not going
and-
to rain in my office.
Beautiful. Welcome, and thanks for that was, as I was listening to you go through what you did there, I've been thinking to myself, of all the entrepreneurial projects I've built over the years, which I don't have quite the years of the other Peter there. I've only got 45 of them, and I've never, you inspired me already to get a lot clearer around exactly what the thing is and what it isn't. So thanks for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, you're right. Everyone understands what they do. They understand their clients and they understand some of that. But the actual business of business, very few people know.
Well, that's a part of what we're doing, because I think that the business of business is in a state of change, which is a part of what we've been doing. So I'll go now to Phil. Phil, the Adamo. Hey, brother.
Yeah, it's pretty good effort. Thanks for that, Rich. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So it's Phil D'Adamo. I'm from Melbourne. Good to be here. I guess my core motivation was I was really interested in the title you use, Rich, there, the Awaretrepreneur title, because of going back a few years, I started a career kind of in business and then moved towards organisational change and leadership, and went on to sort of do a master's in leadership and management, and then set up a leadership coaching business. And then I moved state, came from WA at the time to Victoria, and have held various executive roles. But I feel the time's to come back to go revisit that. I kind of really enjoyed it at the time. I think that leadership is in decline, and I'm really interested in the kind of idea of greater awareness and connectivity and authenticity in leadership. So I'm quite keen to get back in that field of leadership development and leadership of oneself. So that's probably my motivation. And look, what I valued most in coaching was that I just found it really, really rewarding. Everyone was different. Every challenge was different. Everyone was on their own journey, but it was really rewarding work. So I've missed it and pretty keen to get back into it.
Yeah, wow, cool. Thanks for that, Timothy. That's really cool. Well, lots to talk on that in relation to what elements of what we're doing with this. Timothy, do you want to same thing? Just quickly, hi and same thing, what your motivation and your
Hi, Rich, and everybody else. So starting with the first question, the core motivation, I was invited actually by my father, Andre Berkey, who has been in coaching as long as I can remember. Before I was,
is he? That's your father?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He would have been coaching and mentoring you since birth, probably.
Yeah, well, I realized it only afterwards. But I am really interested in the title as well. Similar to Phil, awareness seems to be a key these days, from my opinion, together with connection. And coaching came to me. I didn't realize what coaching was, even though my father is a coach, but more in the business section. And I was much more interested in existential coaching, like understanding for yourself, what is the meaning of life, what is life, and then figuring out how can you speak your voice in a world that's, in my opinion, very much filled with noise. So how do you pierce through the layer or the veil and find yourself? And that's all nice and good, but then you still have to live in this world. You still have to make a living. So how do you then go about doing that? Because many people that I've come together with, and entrepreneurs, they have a passion for something, but business is not their passion. So I work together with a partner. I focus more on the existential side of things, spiritual side of things, self-awareness, mindfulness, and work together with a partner who then focuses on the strategy, implementation, marketing. So it's kind of a complete thing, helping people to figure out what they want to do and then how to do it, to make sure that it's aligned with their purpose or path or passions, but that they also can make a living from it, and so that it's sustainable.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that, and now we'll hear from your elder. So I contacted you probably.
Yeah.
Who did I write to? Both? No, I wrote to you.
You wrote to me.
Yeah, I normally try not to write to people under 45
Yeah.
Because a part of the project is about this depth of wisdom and experience comes from eldership and growth. No offense, Timothy, bloody awesome that you're here, but there's something I've noticed in the coaching and mentoring industry is there seems to be a lack of attraction for people to the elder coaches and mentors, unless of course they're dealing with high-level blue chip executives and different stuff, or they've got a well-established portfolio and career history. And that intrigued me because growing up, as you'll hear from me soon, and being inducted through tribal cultural mechanisms, you would always go for the white hairs. Every time you needed to really understand and know something and grow, you would go for the elders. So it was, that I've had this really interesting thing of finding all these incredible wise elders. So thanks for inviting your son, though, and give us an intro on you.
So I'm Andre Berkey. I've been in the business of helping people and teams to grow for more than 30 years. I would call myself officially leadership and executive coach, but actually I'm probably more a freestyle coach, something between psychotherapy, and sometimes it is psychotherapy. And in the other extreme, it might happen that I share some experience, some knowledge, and offer some advice. The reason why I got attracted was the name, the combination of awareness and entrepreneurship. I think that change happens where you put your focus, where your awareness. So a lot of my work is actually to help people to refocus so change can happen.
Nice.
And what makes me happy is to partner with people, to be in relationship with others and join them on a journey where things become better.
Yep, beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much, both. Michelle, just quickly, a quick intro, who you are, what you do, and just what your motivation for being here tonight.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Sorry, I had a few technical issues tonight. I had the calendar invite on my phone, not my computer, because of something that happened today. So I haven't been able to log in. So sorry. But anyway, my passion is to help to activate people's enlightenment. So I would technically call myself an enlightenment activist, and I've been in the counselling, supervision, production, TV, film, industry, education, training industry for the past, since 1995. So it's been a long time, and I love it. And I'm currently working on season 4 of my podcast, Enlightened Conversations. Cool. And that's basically me, and I'm here to cross-pollinate. Basically.
Yeah, nice, beautiful, beautiful, Michelle. 1 second, guys. My automated alarm, my office here. I'm in Byron Bay, by the way, and it's about to switch on, so I'm going to turn it off one minute.
Time to something.
Cool, that's really nice. These things. And Rachel, you there? I'm not sure if you're. Let's see if we can get your.
No, sorry.
Cool. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rachel. So I came tonight because I'm very curious. So one of my favorite things in life to do is to learn. So I like to learn lots of different things. So probably my special sort of area that I focus on is health. So I've been a life coach, I've been an executive coach, and I've been a leadership coach, and I've done a range of different sorts of coaching, mentor and been mentored. I'm in a women's global leadership program at the moment. And my superpower is unfortunately helping people with a new cancer diagnosis. So I've been doing that cancer navigation for about 15 years. So particularly around the time of a new cancer diagnosis, the person with the diagnosis as well as their family go through extensive grief and shock. And because I've got a doctorate in infectious diseases and medicine, I can navigate really complex health pieces, but I'm an intuitive coach. So depending upon what people need, it's a blend of things. So I don't lead with my spiritual and aware focus. It's more about the, usually it's the logical technicals, what people come in with their pain, physical. There's often interacting between their emotional and spiritual piece. So it's a complex space I work in, but I love helping people.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming on, Rachel. Jason, you're the last one for now, and then I'm going to dive in and kind of give an intro.
Well, as an introduction, that picture is because I'm a business Sherpa.
Oh yeah, cool.
I came up with it.
Awesome.
Everyone thinks I might have really short legs, but look, the reason I jumped on is because when you reached out, you didn't fluff around with, let's connect, let's get in a network. You actually just went, bang, this is what I'm up to, join.
Yeah.
And so, you know, those sort of LinkedIn things, I don't have time for, people who sort of misrepresent themselves to LinkedIn. So yeah, and I was intrigued as well. So I was an accountant for various forms for about 16 years, then quit and did a social work degree, a lot of youth mentoring stuff. Then for about 10 years, built up about 30 different businesses in various forms. And then 2019 scaled back and then merged my sort of coaching business with an accounting firm. So I sort of coach the accountants to recognise needs within our client base, and that sort of can be mental health and it can be sort of business at the top end as well. So as people described, the team described last week, I do the projects and the fluffy stuff.
Yeah, right.
And they do all the advisory stuff. So
All right, mate. Awesome, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
So this is like my third one of these. I'm getting better at these. I realise. I will aspire, Dr. Peter, to be as succinct, and I'm gonna get there. But essentially, the core of what this is, and I can speak a little bit about me and kind of where it came from, and then ultimately why I kind of invited some mentors and coaches into here and what that might look like. The core really of the Awaretrepreneur Tribe is the fusion really of personal growth and business development, and the fusion of really kind of business networking and peer-led mentorship. Yeah, so those 4 access points crossing over, wrapped in a very, very strong kind of cultural framework, what I kind of call reculturalization of the consciousness of business. And it's based in very, very simple things that have served humanity for millennia. And that is that concept of, and a couple of people mentioned it, just, open-heartedness, transparency, guidance, support, trust, that concept of coming back to the ground, sitting around a fire in a circle and being able to support each other. Anyone in that circle that is wearing a hat of a mentor or a guide in some way is doing so from a place of respect and humility, not by any means from a place of they have the answers and the others don't. Because what I've kind of experienced in all the years that I have engaged coaches, consultants, done masterminds, a whole range of things. So I've kind of analysed the industry top to bottom. At the end of the day, I mean, I have never really seen anyone go through any real personal and business transformation that wasn't actually just coming from their own internal expanded awareness. Possibly that was, that's motivated by the guidance and elements of that from the mentor or coach. But this celebration of kind of the guru and the people who got the answers and other people don't, for me, is actually a limitation. And is actually promoting the limitation of the potential, both for humans and for business owners. So I'm kind of wanting to leave entrepreneurship behind not by any means, Dr. Peter Ellis, do we leave the business aspects behind and the need for all those elements, but it's the awarenesses by which all of that is approached. And I've practiced what I've preached over the years. I've built a range of different entrepreneurial projects and experimented with elements of it. And it seems I've come across something, you know, there's a framework, there's a way that this is translating. So at the moment, it's been a couple of years in testing, running kind of this small group style model and preparing for a global kind of networking launch. And then it was just kind of by synchronicity, I've just had my third child, a son, 7 weeks old today. I've got a 3 and a 7-year-old. I'm thinking, you know, I know my wife's at home going, you know, can't believe he's doing these webinars. But each time that a child's coming, you know, I go and do initiation. So traditionally, men would go through a range of rites of passages, and they would continue that right through to the ultimate rite of passage, which is the one at the very end. So during that time, in the recent time, I kind of got this understanding that this would be the work that I would do, and that it would be at least a decade-long project. As I said, I'm 45, so 55. And that it would be, creating a new kind of space. And then I kind of started doing the research and went, oh, wow, far out. Like, there's a weird gap in the market. Like, B&I just plummeted. And there was this space there for people that are looking for a different feeling, I think, an energetic field in terms of what they're giving and receiving at business mentoring and coaching. And, you know, and I know all the major players. I know International Coaching Federation. I know the crew out of Melbourne, and amazing stuff. But I started going at, you know, and brilliant business modeling. It's like, you know, COVID hits, everyone gets a laptop and a Zoom. And Catherine, you know, like this concept, you know, in no way am I making a judgment about this, but I'll be pretty straight down the line. As fear and lack and constriction kick in, natural instincts for humans is to work out how to move, right? How to survive. And sometimes that's not always in alignment with, so they're almost printing coaching certificates. Like, and I'm a digital marketer. I'm rated in the top 100 Facebook marketers in the world. And I own one of the businesses that I own is a complete digital marketing agency. So I analyze data and I saw it. It was classic. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Every single company that offers coaching certificates just increased their marketing 10x. And then I looked on LinkedIn and looked up some of the stats and things, and I saw that exploding and kind of went, right, so there's two things happening. Lots of people are finally realizing, you know, I use the word veils, Timothy. Some veils are breaking down and they're wanting more connection and support, you know, triggered by the isolation, but I think it's been there for a long time, particularly in traditional methods of business. And some of you, you know, you're already working in that space, you know. It's just that I couldn't find anyone that had really put a name around that and a really solid brand around that and a way to bring that together, to be a space where it's like, you know, I look at that thing and it's like, I wanted a place where it's like people would go, you know what, I'm in this Awaretrepreneur Tribe, and there was an understanding of what that meant. The kinds of mentors and coaches that you would run into inside the app or at the meetings and the events, you know, as it grows, you've got a cultural understanding of that. And then the types of business owners, entrepreneurs, and that are attracted are also people that have got that willingness for change, but they've got the realization that it is self-responsibility and autonomy that is needed. Because a lot of my mates that are coaches, they're, you know, because I jumped into coaching not coaching. I don't coach. I jumped into mentoring because of this pull to do that, right? And I've been doing men's work for a decade, so I hold men's circles on a regular basis. I toured the world for several years with a mental health program called the Awareness Shows, whereby go into the high school and bring all the teenagers into the hall in these high schools all around the world and use Indigenous methods of education, which is songlines. So they use the story, then the song, and then the vibration of the song to transmute the learning so that you get this deeper embodiment of actual shift. And, I won't go into a huge spiel about it, but, we're learning that stuff now. Okay. There's a lot of stuff coming out in around, speaking about cancer and things like that, seeing people cure themselves. I've got friends in our community that have done that through some of these kind of methodologies. And then I was like, well, where's that crossing over in business? Because I was doing that in my business. Yeah. So for example, my sales person or something's starting to go, things are going through, get in and find out, well, what's going on at a deeper level. And I guess willing to have the conversations that are quite tough to have. And it's really difficult for a business owner to work out where those boundaries are and how to conduct oneself, where you, in your heart, you're a fellow human, but you've got to have a conversation with that person that's like framed in this context of, let's put aside the fact that you are depressed right now. We just got to talk about the money you're not making me. And it's just that kind of disparity. I couldn't, with integrity, operate in that space. And I never have since I was young. So, and that's been an interesting journey for me because it's been, quite tough. But the Awaretrepreneur Tribe is the culmination of that. Yeah. And then there's a set of frameworks around. So the symbol there is kind of creates an 8-pointed star, which is the 4 personal pillars and the 4 business pillars and the way that they intersect. And, and it all sort of came to me in the kind of in this 300-kilometer walk I did through the desert, that I would get involved in this thing and I'd be somehow find myself involved in business networking and bringing people together. So that's kind of a bit of background on me and the motivations for it. The word Awaretrepreneur came to me during that process, vision quest, whatever you want to call it. And it's also based in bringing that sense of clan and tribe and that unification and that sort of reorganizing into business in a way that, as Timothy said, continues to make sure that the business is functional in the sense that it creates what I call prosperity. But very different balance sheets. When I look at the profit and loss spreadsheet, Dr. Peter Ellis, that I create for my businesses, they have the amount of columns is unbelievable. Only 1/3 of it will have anything to do with financial data or any kind of metrics. There is columns on there that include a bit of an analysis and understanding of the effect and impact of that operation on the next 7 generations of children. There are questions around the hierarchical structure of those businesses and where equality and equity are crossing over. Very tricky grounds, very difficult spaces to kind of make any evangelistic claims, but Awaretrepreneur Tribe is not trying to, and I'm not trying to. I'm not the guru of this. I don't have the answers. I don't know. I'm just looking to create a space, right? And a place where that's getting, and then so that's where the project at the moment is at, is really we're bringing in a small boutique number of people into this network environment. I'm super into technology and things, and Gina Bicciani, who does this Mighty Networks, I've been talking with her, and so we're sort of building it on that and preparing for an app, but we've got a place where that's already occurring, and then I'm testing it out in these things we call Mentor 7 clan groups. We've found that number, and that is run the same way those tribal circles are run, in the framework, working with those 8 pillars. And we're seeing like mind-blowing personal growth. And yes, we are seeing incredible financial and business development shift and change through some of the frameworks and the ways that we're providing that mentoring and really allowing those people to kind of, reveal their own keys, but be able to have a mentor. And then that's the methodology. There'll be a primary mentor that holds that space, who's got experience and runs under the belt, and a secondary mentor we call the observer. It's kind of like the higher self, the one watching the watcher, so that you get this very similar. If you were to go to a tribal ceremony, you would have someone kind of leading that, though they're not leading it in the way that we see leadership, which is very much, I don't want to be another Anthony Robbins. I don't want to create any, it's not about that. It's facilitation. It is leadership. But it's leadership, in those kind of ways, more pointing the direction and being willing to walk it so that people can kind of trust in you, and then another mentor doing it. So that's what's currently happening. They're called Mentor 7 clan groups, and they're filling up at a pretty incredible rate. There seems to be an incredible thirst out there for this kind of what I'm describing. And Dr. Ellis, I know I'm definitely not doing it, as clear as, but that's what's happening. And we're testing the marketing, and it's like people are coming into this and experiencing the work. And at the moment I run it with one of my mentors, an elder of mine who's an extremely celebrated coach and mentor in the creative and relationship space, who kind of watched me grow as a person and create this thing as soon as come in. So there's a small group that are getting around it, and now there's a small group of coaches and mentors some that have attended these kind of webinars, that have taken an interest, that are coming into a small group of 6 or 7 that are going to help continue to flesh out and build out the project and experience the work. And that's kind of the premise of it. It's a cultural, values-based business networking and peer mentoring, and then there's a whole heap of layers, and inside it you've got these groups. So instead of starting a Prava group, instead of joining Taki Moore and the guys, and I know all those models and everything, I can easily create a mentoring empire. I'm excellent at sales and marketing, incredible at branding, I can access resources, but that's just the same thing again. Even if I go franchise model, it's still the same thing. Trying to create a systemic model where the mentors come into this, and then they're willing to run these clan groups, and then there's remuneration built into it, obviously. So people are paying, business owners are paying a monthly fee to come to those to come into the app and attend a kind of a large scale meeting, and then they're paying to come into these Mentor 7s. So I'm preparing for a big launch of this, where it's not going to be physically possible for me or Martin or even Emma and the small group we're growing now to really handle the amount of people that are probably going to come in and are looking for mentoring. So that's kind of a dual focus I'm doing, with these. I'm seeing who's out there who resonates with these themes, and what that looks like in terms of either staying in touch and being interested about it, joining. So we're doing a pre-launch at the moment. We're looking for basically 100 or so in the mentors and coaching space who will pre-launch, that will join in and prepare, because they'll go on from time to time, they'll pro bono and they'll guest on those fortnightly calls. And of course, it's business networking. So they're going to win work out of it. And we've built quite a few things in there, a thing called the Wisdom Bank, which is where we want to extract all this incredible knowledge and wisdom that a lot of these coaches and mentors have, but they don't seem to have documented it anywhere. Some of them have done online courses and a couple of written books and autobiographies and things, but I'm meeting some of these people that are blowing my mind, and I'm like, well, where's that knowledge being retained? So in tribal cultures, they pass that down multi-generationally. Whereas in our culture, it's kind of like, off to the old person's home, and, every now and then I'll hear a story about your childhood, but there's not this continuity of kind of generational wisdom. And in business, that's my feeling, So that is what we're doing with this Awaretrepreneur Tribe. We're discussing those kind of protocols, cultural values, constructs. It's a stamp. It's like, that B Corp stamp. It's like something like that. It's like you will wear it at some point. I've got a big vision. I'm only just beginning, and people will know. They will look at your business and go, oh, you're an Awaretrepreneur. So you've gone through, and there's a few of these around that have been a couple of them have been around for thousands of years. In these kind of groups, I guess, that adhere to a set of principles, but that's the concept. And what we've noticed out there is people are looking for this, particularly the connection element. and particularly trying to find spaces where they can come into contact with people that are holding some of these values that I'm describing, and in particular holding those values in business. Yeah, so that's it. So I wanted to share that, and then the idea on these calls is kind of just get not a discussion going, but I wanted to get, again, very succinctly, and there can be questions as well. But this is me sort of testing the waters for this, yeah, in a way, and putting the question out there. And then I can speak more pragmatically and very practically to what potential involvements there can be and how we're looking at the remuneration structure and creating this, yeah. So I don't know, like in just a small succinct thing, I'd just love to hear anyone that's got like an initial reaction to that, thoughts around it, just to get a feel. And then from there, probably answer a couple of questions, and then I'll kind of leave the call by giving you guys an idea of what our next stage is, yeah? Because we're in fledgling stage. And then if any of you feel aligned, then I guess it'd be a one-on-one call after that to kind of potentially discuss it further or whatever. And the reason I'm doing it this way instead of just mass marketing it and sending out billions of those LinkedIn messages that you don't like, Jason, is because I've realized over everything I've built over the years that when you start with a small group of genuine people that really feel what you're doing is working, and they want to be a part of it, then the integrity of that creates a much better growth cycle for that project. And the business networking space got crushed and is crumbling and needs to be rebuilt. And I mean, I've got people, so there's a business networking aspect. It's very similar to BNI. There'll be in-person meetups. We call them circles. So Byron Bay will be the first one. There'll be an Awaretrepreneur Tribe circle meetup here. And the beauty of it is that instead of going down to the BNI or the local business thing, where the understanding really is, get there, read your resume, swap your business card and work out where the potential exchange is, you'll be going to this thing where the culture of it is one that allows you to bring yourself and what's going on for you. You could go to one of these things and kind of go, you know what, I'm a mess. I can't make wages. I don't know what to do. And there's a culture of safety around the transparency that you're able to express within business. Because I've got young children, yeah, and I would like to see massive change in the way that the consciousness of business is built in everything from remuneration cycles, structures, the entire thing. And as one of my elders said to me, it doesn't matter what you do or don't achieve in life. It just matters that you find that purpose and you just move towards it, because, I'm just a speck of dust, I'm going to pass away in, however many years, but still there's an impact there. So that's the plan with this. So I want to go around and get a response from you guys. Who would like to chime in?
I'll start. If that's all right.
Catherine, yeah, cool.
Hi. Just a number of things that you said, sparked lots of things in me, including actually Mighty Networks. I have some just experience using that as part of the self-mastery community, which is a consciousness.
Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so Timothy, when you were talking about your experience, I'm like, I got to talk to Timothy, because that's been a big focus of mine for a while. So Mighty Networks, I've had positive experiences with that. What you're describing sounds incredibly attractive, including, I know this is going to sound strange, the men's work, because I was married for a long time to a lovely guy who founded the Orlando Men's Council decades ago, and where that was super powerful. So yeah, it sounds great to me. I'm interested and happy to have groups meetings down here in Melbourne, and I would love to come to Byron Bay. So keep going.
Yeah, so that's one of the entry points, I guess, is if there is a genuine interest. For now, it's just like, put your name, email in the chat thing, and we're getting ready for a pre-launch to come in. The Mighty Networks thing is because I consult to SaaS companies, so I'm actually going to be consulting directly to Gina and the development team around shifts in that, and then basically purchasing the code and getting a an app and things where I need it to be in time. But for now, yeah, it's a good, she's very smart. A lot of things she's done. I've consulted to heaps of different software projects, but that's cool. So thanks, Catherine. Anyone else got something to chime in?
Yeah, maybe I will, Rich, if I can. So, clear in some respects, confused in another. I suppose there's things that I like the fact, I like the reference to tribe storytelling. I even like the notion of the yarn, and I really like that feel for how do you use that in coaching. So I find that is really, really interesting and natural in many respects. I like something that Timothy said actually about the fact that this kind of idea that we're so distracted these days that it's difficult to either be yourself or find yourself or even lead others because there's very little time to do that. So I'm really interested in this kind of idea of reconnection with oneself and reconnection with others as sort of an important area. So I suppose in general, I like the feel for this. To me, it seems to be addressing, I think, a need for a different kind of coaching, and a different kind of leadership, I suppose, in a different kind of conversation. So I think that's what is of interest to me. I guess I'm confused in trying to determine the connection between that and where I want to be, I guess, and what I want to do. So it's really around that, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, we're not sure about the word coaching. I'm sometimes I feel like I want to somehow include it, and other times I just want mentoring. Yeah, just because coaching's been given a very interesting name, particularly in the last 2 years. But I watched the industry go from about 4.95 billion globally to 19.86 billion in 2 years. And then looking at where that is and why that is, and the sort of players that have picked that up, and it's still that old world consciousness, and even in the business networking. So you're all probably aware of BNI, Business Networking International. Obviously, once COVID hit, that had a particular impact on the in-person meetups, but then the way that was managed and the way, just with that kind of thing. So there's a gap, Phil, in what people are seeking now, I think. That's what we've noticed from the response to just the early level marketing. So we're preparing like a full-on multi-channel, multi-influencer explosion. Like, this is going to come out globally as the place to go to access this kind of peer support and connection. Inside it, as I said, there's these clan groups, right? And we're going to have clan leaders. So I've already nearly filled the first clan leadership program with coaches and mentors similar to yourselves, like some handpicked people that are who they say they are and really walk the talk, right? Because then it becomes a systemic model that I don't need to control. I don't need yet another company with more employees and all that structuring. This is a dispersible model. So for you, Phil, it could be just, at some point, joining it, popping in there and coming along, seeing what it is, because it's going to have that networking aspect inside it.
So who's coming to, sorry, Rich, just a question. So in terms of the people who are accessing the service, can you just describe that to me? Who's drawn to this, and what problems are you trying to, or what opportunity, whatever it is you want to call it, what need are you trying to meet?
Yeah, basically, so when I started my mentoring, which was an organic process, I never set out to do it. As I said, I own a few businesses. I've earned some stripes as an entrepreneur, but my focus has been in that other world, the men's work and these other areas, and it's passion, right? So I started in the traditional way. I started picking up clients at $4,000 and $5,000 a month, speaking to them for an hour every 2 weeks, and I'm excellent at marketing and I know what I'm talking about and know what I'm doing in business. And I went, wow, this is a pretty cool career. But then I just became fatigued, and I started to notice the dependency on me in a way. And then the whole kind of thing of like, what is this? What's really going on with this? I just couldn't continue with it. And then I went to the desert and got this whole thing about, this has got to go way beyond this, right? So the people that are coming now are the people, I call them the forgotten people. There's like 80% of the entire market that are seeking this kind of support are just forgotten by the people that are providing coaching and mentoring services. And everyone who's going through coaching and mentoring courses and trainings are being told to go after that same little pocket here and just forget those people. So the entry level price point is pretty affordable, with the subscription models. So people are coming in for $100 a month and getting access to this wisdom bank, of being able to get support in there with each other because of the cultural element and these Zoom calls and things. And then the ones that are wanting to go higher are coming up around $750 a month. It's something that they can do. There's people that have got to work nights to put aside $100 to be able to invest in coaching and mentoring. And some of these people are bloody amazing. Like, their business ideas and concepts will be successful. So the people that are coming in, mate, are the people that are looking for this type of thing, yeah, and that literally are not, they're not serviced. They're just not serviced by the general business coaching world. And it just turns out for me that is the lion's share of the entire global market.
Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, I am on a coaching platform that has as a mission to democratize coaching, and so I'm coaching freshly appointed team leaders. The only drawback is that my rate is quite low. That's the difference. But there are companies that understand the importance of having an external person supporting their junior leaders. And so there is a trend, I guess, to make it more accessible. I'm just sharing how I reacted to your session, Rich. I feel attracted to the values. We have some similar values, I guess, and I like the drive you have, but I have not yet really found clarity on if I fit in or not.
Yeah.
But you managed to keep my curiosity, and I would like to stay in the loop. Yeah.
So I guess thank you so much, firstly, Andre, and for all of you. So now I'll get super clear. Yeah, I'm gonna give this my best shot. When you said I haven't found yet, where the point of this would be. If you think so, there's really three layers to this. One, it's a business networking environment. So there's going to be, a couple of $100,000 a month worth of marketing spend globally that's going to be going out there and seeking these people that are looking for that kind of mentoring, coaching, and guidance, and they're looking for a networking environment that share these values. And the way that we're going to induct them, everything from the ads through to the whole thing, is permeating with that pre-qualification process around what they're there, of the type of the Awaretrepreneur aspect of them. You understand? So that's an inbound flux of business owners, entrepreneurs. There will be CEOs and things like that, of course, that will be attracted to this space as well. There'll be retreats. So the first retreat is booked next year. It's here at a very famous place, or Nicole, because I don't know if you know much about Byron Bay, but we call it now the Billionaire Burnout Bay. So all the billionaires and Hollywood stars that kind of are trying to work themselves out are moving here. And there's a retreat, Soma retreat here, where 9 strangers were shot. So we're going to do deep immersives. There's going to be annual events where we're going to be opening up these kinds of conversations and bringing mentors in. So having someone like you in there at a networking level, potentially offering mentoring and guidance to others, you potentially winning, your own direct work out of that, or showcasing, potentially coming forward and being a clan leader. That's what I'm currently kind of working on. I'm trying to find several clan leaders that want to join, that want to mentor these small groups. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I let go of the other model, right, of me doing one-on-one or thing, and created this, creating the business networking. It really is the vehicle by which the space is created, and the people, the like-minded people and business owners, and the like-minded, value-centric, integrity-filled mentors come into the one environment, right? And then inside there, it's the 8 pillars framework. It's the way we're running those clan groups that creates the scalability and the systemic approach and the impact in the world. Is that clearer? Is that making sense?
Yes, and of course, it would be interesting to get to know those 8 pillars and what exactly it is.
Yes, of course. I had a thing. Oh yeah, here it is here. Really quickly, because I know we're pressed for time, and tonight was really about this. It was like, who are these people? Is there a vibe? Is there a potential connection? Who wants to maybe continue that, right? So that's the Awaretrepreneur Tribe, and so essentially that's the core statement. Just can everyone read that? It should be fairly sizable on the screen. I mean, I could read it, but so that's really. We've just found that really what they're after is a sense of connection, right? And being heard and held in ways that are very ancient. And then from there, the insights to what they need personally and for their business and things come through and out of that, actually, instead of the other mentality, which is I'm the coach and mentor, and I've got a prescription for you, or a program, or a set of steps that I'll take you through, and I'll ask you leading questions, and the stock standard stuff. This is different. This is like, get your ass down on the ground, sit in a circle around the fire, and we're going to help each other, work out what's going on. Yeah, which is an ancient method. So the purpose of the tribe is a community bring together conscious entrepreneurs, mentors, and coaches. Right? It's inspiration, hold each other accountable. And it's about that being, sort of what you were saying, Timothy, instead of going with the purpose thing, we're talking about the realization of, really being realized in yourself. Because sometimes I find the whole purpose thing, it depresses people because they're like, well, shit, I don't know. Have I got my purpose? Am I on purpose? Is this my purpose? And I just met a lot of people that end up feeling kind of lost, and they can't find, it kind of, they were sold that thing of you've got to have one singular purpose. Ours is really that. Okay, it's a mixture, and that's really the core elements. It's an infusion of those values, the business networking. Do you see what I mean? It's a mixture of those business models. Yeah, it's got business networking in the traditional sense, both on platform. It's got Anthony Robbins style approach where the Zoom calls every 2 weeks will have probably thousands of people on it, and they'll watch people being unpacked in the 8 pillar model and get plenty of value out of it. So there's quite a few things. So here's the 8 pillars. So there's the personal pillars trajectory, which is the health and self, relationship and family, money and prosperity, and community and creativity. And then there's the business pillars, which is the horizontal square, which is purpose and profitability. So that's where we bring purpose in. It's like we make sure something's profitable, but purposeful in that more extended sense, not that micro, you've got to know your ultimate soul's purpose right now, that sort of thing. Because it changes, right, as you go along. Sales and marketing, team delivering systems, and innovation legacy. So we're still using the cogs and mechanisms and wheels that are there, but it's just the awareness by which we're approaching it, right? So in sales and marketing, when an Awaretrepreneur talks about that, we talk about it completely differently to the different set of awareness to how a stock standard business coach approaches, or a business analyst, or even a marketing guru approaches it. And we're role modeling and teaching these things inside this environment. So does that answer your question about the pillars?
Thank you.
Yeah, and then core values. Yeah, really, it's humility, and it's integrity, and it's generosity and trust, and they're what we call the framework values, but the underpin is love, learn, and serve. So the marketing campaign that's going out is love, learn, and serve. They're the three. They're the underpinning bedrock values. Is if you want a place where you can love, learn, and serve, because the induction when they come in, from whether they're a business owner coming in for $99 a month just for networking reasons and to come on the fortnightly call, or whether they're a coach and mentor coming in to offer, or whether they're coming into these clan groups that we're currently running, it's a give to receive culture. Yeah. So when people are not coming kind of going, give me you, Rich, and solve me and fix me and do stuff and make my business make more money and give me the checklists and where's the spreadsheet. That's not it. All that stuff comes anyway after. The insights are there, the knowledges are there, we draw it in, we can find it. It's more the sense of I'm heard, I'm held, I'm reflected, I'm guided, and then accountability is the key. So they're getting massive levels of accountability in these group mentoring, and we're going to encourage that as well to the network. To be honest, I was never going to the business networking side. I was just running the project as these Mentor 7 clans, right? It's fine. It's a very, very healthy it's a great core thing, core business and great purpose. It's still doing the same work. It's just that when I looked up all the research, and I started looking around. I'm like, hey, I want to join one. I don't want BNI and I don't want that. And then I started looking at all the heart-centered this and conscious this and stuff. And I dived in. I was like, this is not actually grounded in it. It's branded like it, but it's not doing it. And that's what got me. And I was like, there's a gap here. There's a business networking gap, and there's a mentoring and coaching framework and energetic gap. So I'm moving into that space, and the Awaretrepreneur Tribe is aiming to do it. Anyone else want to share anything back before we go? And then the thing, as I said, these calls was to meet some amazing people, which no doubt a lot of you guys are, and check out if there's any opportunity forward moving. Yeah. So any other questions or feedback? I just want to take from you guys what anyone wants to say. Michelle?
Can you hear me? Oh, hi. I wasn't sure if you could hear me. I guess I'm really super proud of you that you listened to your guidance walking along in the desert, and you've made this step forward. And the journey's often messy, and it shows the way as we take each step. So well done that you've done that, and I think that's quite inspiring. And I think that's what a lot of people would be coming to the group. That's what they would be doing. So it's great that you've got that story and that you're being humble, and I love that. I love leading with humility, because that's always how I've been in my practice, and why when I was a counsellor it was this word of mouth, and it was just booming, because they were like, you've got to see her because she's real and not pretentious, that whole thing. So I just wanted to say definitely interested to learn more and see what evolves out of it, and well done.
Beautiful.
Not that you need a pat on the back from me, but
I'll thank you very much, and thank you for each and every one of you for what you do in the world. As I said, incredible service, and obviously entrepreneurs in different ways, and for the time tonight. I hope I was clear in terms of the doorways and the pathways. So, even if it's as simple as, I met this guy a while ago telling me about this Awaretrepreneur Tribe thing, and it's going to be a business, and then when you see it start to come onto the stage, you could join it, join the Awaretrepreneur Tribe for the networking aspect, for being in an environment where that's the culture, as it grows. I mean, it's going to take a while to get other elements going, such as the in-person meetups, and, there's a roadmap there, but I'm not in any major rush right now. I just need that sort of initial reflection and market testing, I guess, and then beginning to grow it. But it will be a networking environment that you could join, at a practical level. And then, as I said, we've got all the clans, they're called clans, Mentor 7 clans. They're all named after birds, which is based on a book called Return of the Bird Tribes, which talks about the collapse of modern civilization, but not the collapse in the way that Hollywood likes to talk about it, and complete destruction, all the rest of it, but the collapsing back into the tribe and clan type approach, and the family unit as well coming back in. that kind of thing. So that's what it's based on a little bit as well. Yeah, so people will run businesses where it's like just the level of respect and connection with the humans that are interacting with each other and creating that. Whereas now it's a little bit 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 figure obsessed, and who's the one that's actually driving the Lamborghini? When it's like, well, how did he get there? Well, it's all the people behind and underneath. So that's it. Any other questions? Any other feedback? Those who do want to stay in touch or would be willing for a one-on-one, I mean, I can write to you guys after as well. You could chuck it in the chat there. And November 25th is when we kind of want to do the pre-launch. So that's the first lot of people. There's obviously already people in there because there's Mentor 7 clients and we've done initial testing. There's coaches and there's business owners in there, but that's going to grow fairly rapidly. And I just need to we need to make sure there's really kind of good people in there when it begins. Yeah. Otherwise,
I have a question in regards to the storage of the wisdom, because I was thinking as well in my work to collaborate with people, because I see it that we are like one big mosaic and everybody has a tile in that. And nobody has the full answer, but if we kind of collaborate, we can create a more holistic picture. And you mentioned about storing all this wisdom.
Yeah.
So within the framework of the 8 pillars, will it be a very structured thing? Is there flexibility to bring ourselves in it?
100%.
And then when you capture this knowledge, what are you intending to do with it? Will you just be continuously updated? Who owns that knowledge? And how do we work with that?
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, right now, because I'm in conceptual stage, right, and therefore I'm working within a structure, and I'm using a platform at the moment to do that for now. There's other things happening. There's, this is going to end up being quite big on the in-person stuff, okay? In the physical meetups, in the circles in the different cities. So right now, right, there's 4 or 5 clans running of 7 people that are deeply moved by this work, who will set up the circles in their towns and cities, and then there'll be the events. So the ultimate aim, to answer your question, for the wisdom bank and knowledge sharing is to do it the way that it's always been done. Me in front of you, eye to eye, heart to heart, felt energy, transference of wisdom through the transformation change. So you imagine a business networking environment where that is a part of it. Online, right? It'll be the combination of allowing people that have not yet brought their wisdoms out in the form of recorded information or whatever else, filling up these pillars. So you've got here, and these are hugely broad topics, right? So there's health and self. That's huge. But in the Awaretrepreneur Tribe context, the aim of this is that the knowledge we collect and put in here is done from that is from that perspective, in terms of how we're approaching those topics of health and self. So any of the resources and wisdom you go through will be under the umbrella. So you bring your own light, Timothy. You bring your own gifts. You bring your own thing, but you do it within an agreed cultural context of what that is. It's not just a random piece of something just because you think it is. It's wrapped. It's wrapped in that, Nice. And then these will fill up with resources. These will be online courses. These will be videos. These will be material of all different kinds. And then the big joy for me will be as the in-person events and the retreats kick off, because that's my passion, right? I love the tribal circle style approach, and I want this business network to be synonymous with that.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else before we wrap? I realize we're gone 19 minutes over the hour.
I could probably talk all night, but I'm going to.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, well, just if there's anyone else that wanted to say or share. I mean, I can go around the room and just, in exiting. And then what I'll do is those that have put in there in the chat that they want to stay in touch, I'll follow up with you and we'll have a chat, and I'll, for those who want to go on the pre-launch list for the app opening, you can let me know. And you can put that in there as well, and I can organize that for when that happens. So we won't launch the actual app it's a pre-launch on the 25th of November, and then the idea is to launch, to really open up and start to grow it, in the new year is the plan. So anyone else, Rachel, you want to share or say anything before you exit? And thanks for that's big work you're doing.
Look, I think thank you, Rich, for explaining that. And certainly it seems to resonate for me what you're talking about in terms of culture and intention. And I think, that's a missing piece in business networking, and the intention mostly for coaching is to, make money at all costs. So it's not necessarily heart driven. So thank you for what you've been doing. I think you've thought about it, and sounds good.
Awesome. Cool. Who else we hear from? Jason, the Sherpa. How you going? How you going down there? I saw your hand stroke your beard a couple of times, and you've got the entrepreneurial furrowed brow.
That's right. That's right. I like what you're trying to do, but I don't think it's something that I would necessarily do. Look, part of it is I coach coaches in this space to an extent, and I've probably pulled away from the concept of a coach as well.
Me too.
More, hence why I registered Business Sherpa, only because it's sort of like, there's no formal qualifications, and it's a very crowded market, and so it's, I suppose it's trying to set yourself apart. And look, I mean, I sort of because I somewhat lean towards accounting, it's not quite, I think it's probably more of a broad network rather than that. So, and probably capacity for me is probably the key, or lack thereof, at the moment.
Yeah, no, for sure. So in terms of that, at this stage, people that are joining the network for the networking side of it, we're asking them to throw in, mentors and coaches, that is, that are joining. We're asking them to give about half an hour a month in terms of being able to do some pro bono, which, look, in terms of the potential clientele and accountants, everything's in there. We don't group by industry. Awarentrepreneurs don't group by industry. We group by essence. So what we do is we look at the holistic essence of a particular individual, not just the particular business model, structure, or industry that it operates in, and we find those affinities, across the way the people are operating and their businesses. This is in the clan groups, and we've got all manner of people, like an incredible array of people that are kind of touching base with it. And the accounting space is an interesting one because, I really want people in that space at some point, because a lot of this is going to come down to numbers games and how to really change modelings, like the way that people are constructing businesses financially in terms of revenue disbursement and, real change in how people are paid and remunerated as new businesses grow. So instead of you've kind of got a pyramidal approach, all of that, so new models in the accounts. I've got some and I'm operating them. So I'm using, stuff from Charles Eisenstein. I've got sociocratic, revenue disbursement models and a whole range of things. But I think there's so much room for new thinking, in those spaces. Yeah. So cool. Well, beautiful. So as I said, those of you that, that have expressed an interest, thank you so much, and thanks for coming and hearing the concept. And if you ever invite me to anything, I'll come as well. That's for sure. No doubt about it. And so with that, those of you that have, guarantee I'll be in touch. And if there's no final kind of wrap up remarks or anyone else, then we'll do that, and I'll reach out and in some point we'll speak. Yeah.
It's nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, Kathy, good luck with the journey. Cool. Awesome. All right, everyone, have an awesome night. Thanks again so much. Be in touch.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks to you, those of you
Bye.
who expressed interest.
Bye.
Yeah. See you, show. Catch you.